Welcome, 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 and thank you for joining us on another episode of today's Electrical Estimating. I'm your co-host, Chris Trommer, and as always, I'm joined by my partner, Sal Huerta. Sal, today we're going to be talking to one of our distributor partners, and during our conversation with him, it sort of struck a chord with me because about a year ago, I was doing this small sort of LinkedIn, I don't want to say podcast, but video cast. And one of the items I was talking about to manufacturers was price files and making sure that they're speaking to their distributors to make sure that all of their products that that distributor carries are included in the price files that they're providing their contractors. Now, can you elaborate for me a little bit further about these price files? Because it sounds pretty straightforward, but they are sort of complex when you get down to it.
Well, absolutely. The value of these price files to contracting is it gets their exact pricing or a pricing that they're going to use to quote out to the marketplace, at their fingertip. We talked about a little bit about this in past episodes where in the old days you'd have to call your distributor to find out what a price is, or maybe fax them or email them a list, and there's a lot of time involved in all this process on both sides, from the contracting side and from the distributor side. And so to eliminate that, what they do now is they create this price file that has all of the information a distributor has. And it could be anywhere between, what the distributor stocks all the way up to 25, 30,000 items of these files. So they're very robust. And these price files, again, allow a contractor to get their pricing information into their estimating packages. And you can imagine if the distributor put in 100 items, and this guy has a 5,000 item job, well, his hit rate's almost nothing, and it just everything comes up with zeros. So the more information, as you mentioned earlier, a distributor can provide that has the manufacturer's information in there, the better it is for the contractor to have a higher hit rate for one, but more importantly, has access to more information.
So with these price files, the more products they actually can build into them with accurate pricing for that particular contractor, the better off they're going to be. It seems like, because as we talked about, sometimes they're getting prices from 3 different distributors. So if you're the odd man out only providing 100 products and the others are providing thousands to cover all of your requests, then you're not probably going to get looked at moving forwards because you're not really giving them pricing on even a portion of that project. Is that accurate thinking?
Yeah, think of it like a simple shopping request. It's Thanksgiving, and you're given a list of 20 items to go buy from the supermarket. Well, if you went to one supermarket that only had 5 of your 20 list, well, you're not going to shop there because you have to go to another one or another one to buy all the lists. You're going to go to the one that has the most, or all of the products that you're looking for, so that we can get it all done at once. The same way when it comes to an estimating or to a contractor site. Again, if you're providing a small amount of information and they could only use a few of the items that you have there, well, they're not going to use you. They're going to go to the one that does cover the most of the information that they're looking for. In most cases, all of the items that they're looking for. And that allows them to be smarter with their bid. Again, we've talked about this in past episodes as well. The more information they have, the more content they have, the better decisions they can make.
I guess an actionable item for these distributors to make sure that their price files are robust and cover pretty much anything that these contractors could be looking for. And it seems like when we're talking with Bryan, there's care that's put into this, not only to get the correct pricing for the contractor to make sure that their discounts or rebates are already all included in this pricing, but to also make sure that there's sort of a tailored list for the contractor themselves. As we just talked about, 30,000 products might be a lot, and it might put a lot of time and effort on the distributor to put these all together. But if you know your contractor, you know the type of business that he's going to be doing and the type of products you are, especially through the account manager, then you could sort of tailor these price files to be more accurate to what they're going to use.
An excellent point. If you're a smaller guy coming up, but you have a lot of potential, the distributor is going to work with you on what you're bidding on. But more importantly, those jobs are probably smaller, and so you're not going to need a 30,000 item file to encompass all the items that you're looking for in your job. But yet you have in the largest guys in town, and we're building the hospitals and football stadiums where they're going to need as much content they possibly can because that allows them to fill those jobs faster.
Do you feel there are any pros or cons when a contractor is actually using an estimating software for, a distributor, say your inside sales team?
I do. I know it definitely makes life easier for them on the quoting side and building some of these big jobs. The loyalty comes in because they work with us, and they do have access to other pricing as well and other competitors. But I do think they try to stay with us, and we're their main. But yeah, obviously they can see pricing across others. But I do think it gives them a great base and a starting point, and I do know they dial in from there. It's not when a bid comes through, it will get looked at by the account manager and inside sales and get kind of reworked a little bit if needed.
Now, Sal, have you run into any? I know you're working with distributors as well. Have you run into any benefits that they've provided to you, or any cons that they're running into, do you agree with Bryan at any of those aspects there?
Yeah, excellent question. What I hear is the time factor. The old days of contractors sending in stuff manually. Think of it, years ago when there would be a fax someone would send. Contractor would take a long time putting together a fax, sending it to distribution, who had an inside person or the salesperson having to take this fax and then reduplicate it within their system just to get a price out of it. Then the distributor would have to actually put that information on a spreadsheet, or if they didn't have it, basically write the numbers back on the fax and fax it back to the contractor. Then he's got to type all that information back into their estimating program.
Yeah.
So this, the scenario we talk about here, bypasses all of that and allows the distributor to be able to work closer with the contractor and not having to do a lot of that manual services.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I could attest to that as well. Being an inside sales position in the corrugated industry, there was a lot of times that people were sending me back quotes for products we've already done for them. And then I'm taking time out of my day with 15 different emails to go through, pull the pricing, put that back into an email, send that email back to them while they're waiting a couple hours for me to get through the queue of what they've done to finally reach them. They had a system set up where things are actually getting priced and sent back to them right away. It feels like it could be a benefit.
Bryan, obviously I'm with NetPricer, and my question for you was, does a service like a NetPricer actually save you guys time, whether it be the inside salespeople or you guys putting files out for customers that allows them to be able to get their projects and their works done quicker?
Well, inside sales definitely, like you just talked about, that automates that whole process. Yeah, I know when the bid comes in and they're able to take that bid, they can very quickly go through it, roll it to a live order. Definitely speeds it up to there. From my standpoint, being on the back end of the system, I get asked for pricing from the pricing department, produce things. Of course, they produce quite a bit too, but quite often is can you pull a report? Can you pull this for this price line or this group of price lines and provide it? Having NetPricer and having a good list of active products, not everything in our catalog, but stock, active, non-stock products, we can quickly roll that through the routine and it'll price out the customer's price, and they get their price, what they see, which can vary a little bit from customer to customer. So yeah, it helped with the constant question of getting asked to create ad hoc reports quick on pricing.
And the follow-up to that is, are you seeing that customers are asking for things for you guys, like in the price files or things like that digitally? Are you finding that those customers are doing more business with you, or are they doing the same amount as they did in the past?
I think it leads to more business. There's more opportunity for business, and I'm hearing that from sales managers. And in some areas, in some markets, I do know because we normally don't just put everybody on the system or pass our pricing out. We guard that a little bit, but I do hear from them that, yeah, we've got a customer, but they're growing, they're continuing to grow. We want to provide this service to them, and it will, there's a potential it'll open the door for more business down the road. I hear that quite frequently.
Are there a list of criteria that you guys have for these contractors? Is it just based on volume, or is it, like you just mentioned, they're up and coming in an area, and you see a lot of potential for them?
Normally, there's got to be, I think, a little bit of spend I don't always make the call on it. If it's somebody who signed up yesterday for us and they don't, there's not much opportunity there. We do not set them up until they're established. I want to say it's always been our larger customers, but I'm starting to see that kind of evolve, and now it's starting to get into the medium and even some of the smaller customers we're putting on. I mean, we make sure that they're a good customer, that they're buying enough from us. And yeah, that's I get the blessing normally from a general manager, and then I set up the job.
Are these customers, are they coming to you when they want to connect, or is this something that your team is actually reaching out to them and making them aware, making that connection? Is it more one-sided, them coming to you wanting to make that connection on there?
I do get from the pricing department or normally somebody in the company. I see it get passed from sales managers or account managers just because my name's out there a little bit for doing this because I've managed it for quite a while. I do get emails saying, hey, can you help out this customer and this and that. I also do receive emails from NetPricer asking customer X would like to be able to receive a price file. Do you accept or approve or whatever? And then I go through the channels on my end. There's 7 different business divisions in our company. So I have to turn around and I kind of evaluate the customer and what line of business, and then I send it normally to the general manager.
Okay. So when you guys are getting a request in from NetPricer from a contractor, it's not something where you're just saying, yeah, why not? We'll just throw somebody on there. You guys actually have an internal process that's put into place to sort of vet or verify that these are going to be customers you're going to be working with moving forward.
Correct. Yeah, there's a vetting process, and yeah, I don't just build a job and set them up. I make sure that this is what we want to do. Like I said, we do guard our pricing a little bit. So before we start pushing files across the internet, we want to make sure things are, it's going to be a good, legitimate customer, and they're doing enough business with us to warranty that.
Now, I know you just mentioned it there, and you sort of mentioned it before, that they're doing enough business. Is there anything that they should be doing prior to maybe make this process a little bit easier for them? If I'm a contractor, is it something where I could talk to somebody else within the company and say, hey, we're looking to connect with you guys. I know you're going to have to vet us. Is there anything we can get to you beforehand, or is it just based off of internal information and documents that you guys are working off of?
Normally, they're a large enough customer that they've got an account manager, not just a house account.
Gotcha.
So they will turn around and work with their account manager, and then their account manager quite often will get with me and say, what are the next steps?
All right. So this is something you guys are just building the relationships over time and business-wise to actually get them to this particular point.
Correct.
One of I guess the best thing for them to do is to start doing more business with you, huh?
There's an incentive there, yeah, to keep that up. You bet.